We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Welcome back to IBD Determined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey, and I speak from the role of a patient, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm your other host, Michelle Harvey. I'm Mason's mom, and I speak in the role of a caregiver. And today's topic is going to be about step therapy and young adults. It's not going to be a super detailed podcast on what step therapy is. It's just going to be following some results that the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation recently found, and it's fitting because
I just had a one of my final assignments for my communication to 12 class was a proposition paper where you have to say something needs to happen about something. I talked about step therapy and the problems it causes, how it works, and ways that it could be, sorted out or undone.
Yeah.
That's fair for all, both the government, the biologic companies, and insurance. Because you can't just say, oh yeah, insurance can just pay you that, $1 million a year. It's like, no. Yeah. So you have to figure out a nice balance. So that's what that was about. So now we're going to talk about this.
So we thought, this study was done. This news report came out about a month ago. We're like, hey, why not just throw that in there since we were just talking about it in other news? Mason did get his calprotectin scores back. We were talking about that last time.
I also got a ton of blood draws.
Yeah, we did. It was a fun day.
It was more draws than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, he gets labs every 4 weeks, but it's usually through the IV when he's in the infusion center. So this was different because it was an actual, you go to the labs and get your blood drawn. And then he had to go upstairs to the clinic and get his treatment. So he got
a lot of poking. And then on this week we're gonna get an infusion. The poking is not stopping, guys.
No, I know, and more labs. But
more labs.
These were important because every 4 weeks we're looking at his calprotectin. And I think last time we misspoke, your score was above 600. I think we said 300. I can't remember. At any rate, his
300 sounds familiar.
The reason that's important is because his score dropped by about 500 points.
It's a big deal.
A big deal. And we haven't yet heard, if you're familiar with my chart or any of those kind of systems that you use, they give you the results, but we haven't heard what the doctor has to say about it yet. And so he's still not in the normal range, but he's definitely closer. And so it's interesting.
So it's good. We dropped to about
95, which is really good.
So, it either goes two ways. It's either, oh, wow, this is great. Maybe I'm not going into a flare, or maybe it's slowly going down, which is interesting. We had a little blip. Or it could be there might have been a miscalculation. Well, not miscalculation, but they might have made a little mistake. And so,
depending where the inflammation is located and depending, some things can vary. Even the time you take the stool sample, and because this one was taken, we don't need to go into detail about Mason's schedule, but different. These are all different things. We talked about this calprotectins and the other podcast. You can catch up on that.
You can go back and watch
that. But it does make a little bit of a difference. What we're doing is he's going to repeat this in 4 weeks. So we can see if there's a trend, if it's continuing to stay or go lower, or if it's going to go back up. So we're just kind of keeping an eye on it, but that was good. That was
good because I was saying having lunch and also we check my chart because we're expecting, it says your labs are back, and so
I was like,
it's gonna go up a little bit.
Right, we were kind of mentally prepared.
95. Oh my gosh. So we were that was a good surprise.
Yeah, definitely good. That's exciting. That's all good. We also made time because it has been so much work for him. Just so much. We've been so busy and there's been a lot of, just mental stress. So Wednesday, we got to go to the Company D store, which if some of you may know what that is, others.
Someone out there is like, huh?
Yeah, probably more of you are like, what is that? But it's the store for, my understanding is for Disney employees. They can shop there and everything is marked down. And so you can, there's shirts that, or things that were like $70 in Disneyland and they're now half off or even less than that. And so
you can even get stuff from like last Christmas or last Halloween. They're selling these Halloween wreaths.
It's pretty cool.
It's cool.
Hmm.
And because you said it's for Disney employees, no, no one in our family, well, no one in this house, not my dad, not my mom, not me.
Right.
I
We're
hope not
not.
me. We aren't Disney members.
No.
My grandma and my grandpa.
But we know
So
someone who
we
is.
know
We
someone
have
who
a
is. So
couple actually, but one, so like I don't know how many
don't
times a
come into
year.
our comments asking if we can you can go.
No, we cannot help you.
We cannot help you with that.
Yeah, we cannot. Good point.
Employees.
But I don't know how
No,
many
she's wearing a
times
Disney shirt.
some people I am. I'm wearing my Disneyland
Disneyland.
shirt that I got there. But anyways, so the interesting thing is they do this a couple times a year where they open up to family and friends, and
Mhm.
you need to have a flyer that they fill out. They put a special number on there. They give it to you. You can't make copies. It can't be on your phone. You have to actually present it and bring it with you to get in and to pay.
Yep.
And so we had a friend who did that for us, and she said that when they do it again, she'll let us go. But I don't know. Mason's experience, we're generally pretty careful
Yeah.
with what we do because of his immune system. We do go inside places. We will wear masks. We're careful. I don't think we were prepared for Company D,
It was still fun.
but it
I
was
didn't expect that though.
busy. So Jason is not a big shopper and
No.
he's not a huge Disney fan. I would say he tolerates it, he puts up with it, and I think he likes it more than he'd admit.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
he was there and my mom went with us. But what happens is if your eyes see something like in one corner, you're gonna just take
Yeah,
off.
we need a
And
shirt.
yeah,
Oh, we need a jacket. Other side is
there was just, I mean, it was just everywhere.
Mhm.
And it was like I was having such a hard time because I was like, oh, I want to go over here. I want to go over here. I want to go over here. And it was really, it's like a fun place. It's like you get to like search for things and find things. But like all of a
You sound
sudden,
like Han, but
yeah, but all of a sudden, like Jason's in one direction and then my mom goes off in another
where's
direction.
the car?
And then we're staying there with the car like by ourselves, like, okay. So we hung out and then we kept trying to find each other and we did okay. It's not like a huge store,
Mhm.
but it is really hard to pay attention. It
Yeah,
is
it's hard to focus.
it is like really bad because every time you're like, oh, but look over there. And then you take off. And then there's like somebody trying to walk in front and they're trying to cut across. And there's so much stuff. There's not a lot of space. So, anyways, super fun.
Yeah.
Just for somebody like us or like
If there
Mason,
was less people in it, it probably would have been
it
nicer.
would have felt a little more calm. And I think it was a little stressful for
If
you. Definitely do a good job keeping it clean and get
yeah,
everything
definitely.
put up and marked. All the prices were well marked. Everything was really
Definitely.
good. It was just, I think if we go back, it would actually
It'd
make
be
more
easier.
sense.
Yeah,
We left after that. We went to downtown Disney and had lunch.
got some cool
And
stuff.
but yeah, we
That's the
did.
shirt you have right.
Yeah, and we got some like baseball jerseys
Yeah,
that are so cool. Anyways,
they're really cool.
lots of cool stuff, and we'll look forward to going back, and maybe it'll be a little easier since we've been there. We understand the process, and so that was supposed to be our stress relief. Our like, let's get away from it. I'll go do that. And so we did. So that's what we did. And then we had a birthday party for your
Yeah,
cousin.
that was
And
fun.
that was
Yeah.
nice. We got to see them. He's been really busy with school. So there's that. And so that's why today's topic, step therapy, we wanted to just kind of bring this up because Mason's in some of these age groups. He's a younger IBD patient. And a lot of these things lead to other questions and things that are happening as you're transitioning from pediatric to adult care. So I think it's important to talk about and to be made aware of, depending, I don't know what age group is in here, but all of you at some point will probably be affected by step therapy or already have. And so this is a topic that can apply to anybody. But I think this is just information that is interesting. So step therapy.
I have a lot of experience with this. It's not fun to deal with. So
No.
the step therapy is a fail first policy by insurance companies. So what I just read means a policy where insurance requires patients to try a lower cost medication first and only cover the other one their doctor prescribed if the initial option doesn't work. So basically what they're doing is if your doctor is like, you need Stelara, there's some biosimilar that might not work the same
Mhm.
as Stelara, and your doctor's like, no, they need to do Stelara, but insurance says, well, we're not going to pay for that, so they have to try the biosimilar.
Right.
Good luck to you, and so they force you to fail to get what the doctor says would be best for the patient.
Right.
Now it's confusing because the doctor is the one who knows about your health. Insurance isn't the doctor. It is
Well,
the handler of money.
the doctor cares more about
Yeah.
you than insurance does. You're the dollar
Insurance,
sign to
yeah.
insurance.
Insurance
You're a
focuses on
patient
money.
to your
Yeah.
doctor.
And then doctor focuses on human.
So like Mason was saying, the thing is what we just described to you, because that was from the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, where it says they'll only cover the one that the doctor prescribed if the initial option doesn't work. That really isn't the case all the time where they give you one option and then like now you can try your doctors. There was one note we got from Mason with the biosimilar and it listed like 8 different things he should
Yeah,
try.
hey, you should fail 8 times
Right.
before you get what you need.
Before we get, and it's like, you're already on this. Hey, it's working great. But you know what? We want something cheaper. There's hidden costs here that people aren't aware of, that insurance, I feel like I don't understand. They must do the math. They have to do the math on this, but they probably figure, well, if one person ends up in the hospital costing us millions, we're still ahead. And
Yeah,
so,
or they say, just if it's not broken, don't fix it.
right. And, or they'd like to break it.
Yeah,
And
or they, yeah,
then they're like, oh, now we got to fix it again. There's some differences here. So there was another instance with Mason where they wanted to put him on budesonide because he was starting to flare. His doctor explained to insurance why he needed budesonide. Insurance said, well, he doesn't have ulcerative colitis. He has Crohn's. And she's
okay.
trying to explain, well,
Well,
Crohn's affects the same areas as ulcerative colitis. It's in his colon.
Insurance. I think you forgot that you're talking to a GI
I think they
specialist.
do forget. I think they do
They
sometimes.
forgot that the
Or they
GI
don't
doctor
care.
knew.
They're hoping the GI just kind of ignores it and is like,
Yeah,
okay. And so even though she was an expert in this kind of stuff and said, you don't understand Crohn's disease
yeah.
if you're saying that, they still wouldn't do it.
So,
So
we refuse to listen to what
yeah,
you just said.
wouldn't listen. So that's one example of step therapy where they're like, here, why don't you try this? And the doctor is absolutely like, no, that
No.
isn't going to work. This will. And they argue about it and they want you to try it. The other one is biosimilars, which Mason was just talking about, which we have also faced. And so in step therapy, just to make sure it's not confused, this is not like when you're trying to get onto a biologic and insurance denies it. That's different. That's a whole nother fight.
Yeah. There's
So,
so many fights
right.
involved with insurance.
Getting that that's different. The step therapy is literally when a doctor prescribes something, the insurance says we want you to try this. It's not like when the doctor prescribes something and insurance says we won't cover it. That's a different situation. So anyways, it can be a problem because insurance doesn't truly always know what is best. Like we were just talking about. So one of the things that is interesting about is they did a study. This was conducted by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. It was in 2023, but the results were all collected over that time taken, and then they have interpreted it and put out the article. And it shows how it affects younger IBD patients. Well, they surveyed
1,700 people in the following age groups: 18 to 25,
Yep.
26 to 64, and caregivers of patients under 16.
Under 18.
I ain't. I
I
can't
know
read.
you're thinking
Caregivers of patients under 18. That's all about me. I'm 16, right?
you have the right age group. Right, right.
Before we start on this, I will say that biologics are very expensive. And so insurance at the end of the day has to pay a lot. What's amazing is, for a fact for my speech, biologics take up 2% of
2% of the night. There's 97 million people insured, and of that, 2% are on biologics.
Of that 2% are on biologics. However, those biologics make up 37% of insurance costs. I thought I heard something. Probably the wind.
Yeah.
It's actually really windy It's really windy where we are today. But that's a crazy fact. Only 2%, but it's worth 37.
So it shows how high these costs are. So it's not like
It's not like insurance is just like, no, we want you to
no.
They are paying an astronomical fee.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the doctor's orders shouldn't be overridden when it's in terms of somebody's health over money.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, money is still important, and insurance is like,
And we'll probably do another episode to discuss more along the lines of what he's talking about, because it is important to discuss a solution to the problem. And part of his speech was coming up with a solution, but we won't go into that here.
We can go into that here.
But that would be a good
Let's do that in the future.
Yeah, it would be, because no one's trying to be unreasonable here. I mean, we joke about insurance not caring, looking at him like a dollar sign. Insurance is in the business there. It's a business, and so you got to look at other factors. It doesn't make it right, but you need to understand it.
Yeah, you need to have a perspective. We're able to have a critical thinking, critical thinking ability. If you want to solve something, you can't just say, insurance is evil. They're trying to take my biologics away for the fun of it. No,
that wouldn't make a good argument.
There's a reason for everything. And insurance has a lot to pay, not to mention I'm very expensive. And there's a lot of other people, 2% of the population.
Right.
But there's a lot of other people on it, and that's really expensive, especially when it's 37%. They're having problems over there. The patient's health and the doctor's orders should not be overridden.
That should not
Don't
be the
keep
case.
yelling and blaming for no reason.
But it's
You gotta have
okay. Like,
perspective.
we don't know who to be mad at when
Yeah.
this stuff happens though. And it's like insurance is the one you get mad at because they are the ones sending the letter typically. Like,
Mhm.
nah. And so there is
It
different
should, you know,
solutions. But that's another
yeah.
like, yeah. So let's
Let's go back.
so the following age groups, they looked at 18 to 25, 26 to 64, and they talked to
Caregivers of
caregivers
patients.
of patients under 18,
18.
which
Okay.
we were not part of that. So just to be clear, so it's interesting when we're not part of something, they do these surveys because you like to see how you fit into it. Like, well,
Mhm.
what if they had asked me, would I have
Where would
affected
I have
this?
gone? You know?
So here's the result. 35% of young adults, which was the 18 to
18 to 25.
25
Yeah.
group, were significantly more likely to experience insurance mandated step therapy, as opposed to 27% of adults, which were in that 26 to 64 group, and 20% of pediatric caregivers.
Well, I guess I'm in the smallest percentile so far.
Right. And so, but that, which is interesting. So saying you're in the least to be affected, you're in
Mhm.
the smallest group to be affected by
But
step
that
therapy,
goes to
the least.
show that it still
And we
happens.
were affected by it. And so it's interesting because I know others who were, it seems like 20% seems very small to me with what I've heard. It's interesting.
Yeah, it
You know,
is
when you have these
interesting.
groups of 1,700 people, where did they find the caregivers and how, it's an interesting number to me. But the main thing it suggests is that it is the young adults that are having, I feel like it can also be a couple different things, which were they didn't look at the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. It was an article. They're not going to look into these
Mhm.
things, too much for everybody. They're trying to put out a good article where you get the facts.
Yeah, just
But
straight fact.
of the 1,700 people, and I
Mhm.
probably could have looked this up. I don't know if I saw the information. How
Mhm.
long had they been on
It's been
them?
interesting.
Were they on
It's
dual
like dual by,
biologics?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So different factors can affect you getting step therapy.
Yeah.
What these results are saying is like once Mason here gets to that next group, maybe insurance is going to target the younger group because they are so expensive. They're trying to get them onto different
Or they're like, oh,
drugs.
next result, let's go.
Yeah, and
They say, oh wait, he changed his doctor. It's not gonna
I mean,
find.
you'll still be affected by
Yeah.
it. I think more adults would be too, but what do I know? I know
Yeah.
these are their results. It says more than one third, which is 35% of young adults, reported low confidence in knowing which questions to ask their insurer during coverage issues. I mean, I think that's true because
Mhm.
if you got a letter, do you feel like you're well equipped or you feel kind of
Mm,
like, because I do that. Like I'm an adult and I get this stuff for him and I'm like, where do I start?
yeah.
What does this mean?
Whatever
And
I can do.
so the more you do these things, like we have much higher confidence, but
Mhm.
maybe some
At
young
first, it's
adults.
who do you get involved?
Mhm.
You know, because the first letter we got, we're like,
Right.
and
It's
the
hard
doctor
to
be like,
figure out.
oh,
So if someone is 18 and they're getting these step therapy letters, they're getting denials, things like that, if they don't have a team like their parents behind them who can help, and a lot of them may feel alone in it. So you may
mhm.
have low confidence. A lot of people don't know questions to ask. It's
Yeah.
really who
I
does?
mean, I don't know which episode it was. It was one of the last three or something, but
Mhm.
it was the easiest questions have the hardest answers, and the hardest questions have the easiest answers.
Yeah.
You have to find the right question, the question that matters, not just a question that's like, oh yeah, here's a good question to ask, but
Yeah.
was it really important? You know, you have to find the question that really is
Right.
important.
And
And
how do people
how do you know
know?
what to
It's
ask?
really hard to know. And that was versus 25% of pediatric caregivers. It's a higher percentage among young adults than even the pediatric caregivers. And that could make sense because we've had some more experience with insurances being caregivers, being adults, being parents. Those things make a difference. It's just saying there is a need to support our
Yeah,
younger adults.
definitely.
There's more education and more help. So the next one that was interesting they talked about was financial strain and employment impact. And even though this wasn't step therapy, they did these with the same groups. And 18% of young adult patients take on extra jobs or increased work hours to cover healthcare or insurance
Yeah.
costs. And that's a significantly higher rate than adults and
Mhm.
pediatric caregivers. They fell in at 11%.
Crazy having to work an extra job just
Hmm.
to stay healthy. I mean, obviously it makes sense. It's just crazy to think that just because someone has a illness that they didn't ask for, they have to pay more. Obviously, it makes sense. Who's going to pay for it? You know, it's not just, oh yeah, we're just going to pay for it for free. They have to get this.
Yeah.
But it just seems unfair that someone has to pay for a disease that they didn't, want
Right.
or a problem that they
Well,
didn't
I
find.
think in this age group too, a lot of these kids are trying to go to college,
They're
trade
trying,
schools.
yeah,
They're trying
get their life
to
started.
pay for that. And then they have maybe after probably 26, so in the next age group up is when they might come off their parents' insurance, if any of them are on their parents' insurance. Fortunately for Mason, we have good health care and he's on that. But
Healthcare.
it is still a responsibility at that age to suddenly be paying for, college life in general and then trying to pay for your health care. How many other kids are having to do that at 18? So I think it is really difficult and it's very expensive. And it's hard even for me, my job was affected definitely, so I can see how it would affect
A patient
a
and stuff.
patient. And so it seems to me like it would be nice even if there was something like to help pay for their college, some kind of, something from the government, some kind of
Assistance.
assistance, because you want these people to not have to go onto the
Yeah.
disability system and fall into that. You want them to be able to get these educations
We want to
to,
help them live a
Mhm.
better life.
Yeah,
Help them as much as you can with the
right.
disease.
And I
Yeah.
feel like that's one of the reasons why I fight so hard for Mason. I don't want this disease
No.
to make
The
his
funny
life
thing
more
is,
difficult as a
yeah.
young adult.
The funny thing is, as time goes on, when Crohn's disease originally felt like the thing holding me back, now it's like, oh, well, you know what? The disease isn't too bad. Now we got to deal with instruments.
Right?
The disease is that problem.
Right. So it's multiple things.
So much to deal with, to
Yeah.
focus on.
So the reason, just bringing it up, I think is to throw it out there and raise awareness that young adults still need help when they're transitioning from pediatric to adult care. Helping, making sure if you're listening and you're a parent or you're a caregiver, 18, it doesn't stop. And I know I think in families that are, normal, which nobody's normal.
Nobody's not. Remember this quote: "It's
Yeah.
normal to be weird, and
It's weird
weird to
to
be
be
normal."
normal, but what you would consider healthy normal,
Yeah,
I guess,
it's
where you
like
don't
not
have
having a disease.
where you don't have all these extra bills, but in these families where
Extra
they
bills.
don't have the same, it's not the same as what families who are dealing with chronic disease
Mhm.
are going through. And so I think it's just important to support each other and to remember once they hit 18, they're, don't abandon, do what
Keep
you can and
helping.
keep
Keep
helping them,
assisting.
help them
Oh,
navigate it.
you have a disease, you have an illness. Hey, jump through this hoop and jump through all those.
Right, and then do this and this, and his Rady's does a good job. Their GI clinic, as far as it was super annoying. Like not even gonna like the amount of paperwork he has to go through to
Yeah.
go to an appointment, and we twice a month he goes to appointments where they need
Stuff.
paperwork. But at first it was like, what is this? Like, are you serious?
Why so
But
many?
they're really they start prepping them when they're about 13.
Mhm.
They start giving them questions to answer. And they want them to slowly be ready as they get older to be familiar with these
Which
things.
is a cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's just a lot of paperwork.
It is.
But it
This
makes
the thing
sense. It
is.
does. I mean, they're trying to prepare them. And maybe it's because of studies like this that
Mhm.
these pediatric hospitals are becoming aware that these kids are leaving unprepared. And they're already have, I
The
mean,
dangers of the insurance world.
it's true. It's difficult. So anyway, something to consider. So that's why we just want to bring that up today. To talk about the young adults out there that are facing so much and also saying good job for all of you. No matter what, if you're not going to college, that's
Yeah.
okay. If you're undecided and that's okay. It's all okay. It's really about what works for you and your situation. Only you know that. That's kind of it, I think.
Well, I know someone because I'm delusional and we have tons of fans, and one of those tons of fans is gonna be upset we didn't talk about our jumping spider this week.
Oh, if you want to mention the jumping
So like,
spiders.
how dare they didn't mention the jumping spider? Nobody's gonna talk about that.
So after our podcast, we walked out there and
Yeah.
Felix.
Okay. So last time we walked out of the room after the podcast, it was over. Felix was sitting out of his web. He's
Finally,
been
he
sitting in
there
there
for
for 3
weeks.
weeks or
Yeah, because he was
and
molting.
so it's funny because we're talking about he's been sitting in his web the whole time. We miss him. The second we walk out of that room, he's like,
We're like, oh
"Hey!"
my gosh.
And then
And then Jelly Bean's
just
like,
today,
hey, I'm gonna go build my
yeah, and
web
so
now.
Jelly Bean builds her web, and
And
then
then
she
she
starts
molts.
molting, and it's like, oh great. And so just today, Jelly Bean came out of her
Uh-huh.
hammock. So now
Yeah.
we have two jumping spiders hanging out, which
That
is
are,
very
yeah. And we
fun.
have Goldie.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is a
Goldie
fun
gone.
story.
She,
Goldie gone twice.
yeah, Goldie gone, we're calling her now. She got out once. I
Yeah.
mean, if this keeps happening, we'll just let her go free.
Yeah.
I mean,
Third time's a charm. Let
here
Goldie
to,
go, bro.
yeah, we're not here to like ruin her life. And,
No.
but it's like, okay, she's got a super cool enclosure. We feed her food. And I swear that's when she shows up is when she's hungry. But
Mhm.
Mason found her on our ceiling
Yeah.
the
So
first time.
we lost her for about like 5 days or something within a week's amount of time. But it wasn't within like 3 days. It was longer than that.
Mhm.
And we're like, oh well, we just lost her.
Yep.
That's it.
Like,
And
well,
it
she's
was
gonna be happy. She's fine. She's a native spider.
yeah.
Okay, so losing Felix or Jellybean would be traumatic.
Yeah, that would
They're
be
not
bad.
raised out
They're
here.
for the East Coast.
Right. A little
So
different.
yeah.
Goldie is a Southern
So
California native.
she'll just live
Yeah,
here and be
she'll be
like, "Hey,
fine.
this is nice."
Yeah, she's okay if she gets out and
Yeah.
she's good.
She got out. It was a hospital day, I think. They're making dinner, and I'm sitting in our living room, and I'm like, "There's a little dot on the ceiling.
It
That'd be
was
funny if that was
Goldie.
Goldie." And so I walk up to it, and it starts moving. I'm like, "Looks
It's
like a jumping spider." So I get up on a chair. I'm like, "That's Goldie!" And so I
yeah.
get a cup and I catch her, and until we put her back in the container. Yay, we caught Goldie again. Then within less than a week, Goldie
She
gone again.
right. Goldie gone again.
Goldie was gone again. And
I mean, apparently we aren't learning. Like, so she knows how to get out
yeah.
of that
So
container. It's
she
not a
got in the
great one.
container. Now we got another container
Mhm.
after she escaped the
That's like
second
jelly
time.
beans. It's a good one.
It's a very
It's a
good one,
better
and
one.
she likes it a lot more this time
Hmm.
because
Because
she hasn't
yeah,
gotten out.
we were and so the day we were going to the
Yeah,
company D store.
so I'm getting ready to get in the shower. I'm still in
Yeah,
pajamas, and she's getting her hair ready, and she pulled out the basket and she was like, "Mason, come here." She's taking out her stuff, and because she
like
thought,
right under my hair
yeah,
dryer.
she thought it was a dead
I
spider,
was like, oh no.
but she put
I
her hand next to it,
and it started
and it
moving.
started moving, and it's Goldie.
It
So
was
I run in
Goldie.
there, and so I grab a cup, and I try to put it, and she's trying to run to the side of the basket to get through all the
Yeah,
holes, and she's like, no. And so, but we caught her again, and now she's in a good enclosure. So now we have 30 jumping spiders,
yeah,
one big one,
yeah.
one small one.
Jelly beans the size of the nail.
Yeah, the nail.
Goldie is like a tenth of that. She's super tiny, but she's shiny gold. That's why
Yeah.
her name is. She's shiny. That's how you can see her so well.
So the fun part is, we don't really know how long she was gone for, except that she might have been gone from 5 to 7 days because she's so tiny. When you look and you go, oh, she might be gone, or she might be under a leaf right now. We can't see her,
Yeah.
and so you can sit there and look for her for like I don't know, 10 minutes, and then
Hard.
out of nowhere, you're just, oh, there she is. She was right in front of me the whole time.
Yeah.
But then other times you're like, oh well, she's gone again.
Yep.
So she's very
yeah.
tiny.
So that's our spider update.
Yeah, so now the one person who will be sad is now content because they got their spider talk.
Yes.
They're going
If anybody cares.
after they listen in 5 minutes in the video, they're going to be in the comments saying, "Hey, you didn't talk about the spiders." So
Yeah.
watch to the end.
Yes. Well, yeah. So hopefully you stuck around for that
Yeah.
valuable information at the end.
I'm sure you're interested in it. You're totally not yawning right now.
So maybe we'll post. So follow us on Instagram because maybe we'll post some pictures.
Yeah.
Now that they're out because we haven't been
pictures.
able to post many things because they were both in hiding for a while. So
Yep.
we'll have to update our posts and let
Yeah,
people know how they're doing. So check
Fashion
us out
shows with jumping spiders.
on check us out on Team IB Determined on Instagram. And you can also listen to us on any podcast station like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And check our Buzzsprout link for other places to listen. That's if you're watching us and you want to listen to us somewhere else. But if you're listening but want to watch us,
you know, well, there wasn't really much. Well, oh yeah, to see your Disney shirt. Well,
which
a
was
tenth of your
really
Disney shirt.
lame. Yeah, I didn't like. You can't even see it.
You just want to watch us, you should go to YouTube videos. There's also YouTube podcasts, but if you're on YouTube, you're probably here to watch videos.
Mhm.
So if you want to watch us, make sure to go to YouTube. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time we post a new video, make sure to hit that bell icon. It's a very interesting thing because I thought we talked about this a long time ago, but I thought when you subscribed and notified you every time we post a new video. Turns out, not all the time.
Right.
So, make sure to do all three of those things,
Yeah.
right? All three.
Do everything and then keep checking.
Yeah.
And because we have a new episode every 2 weeks on a Thursday. That's usually when we are. You'll see us. But so check back and
If
thank
you want
you for listening.
don't forget to leave some comments. Leave some positive comments talking about your jumping spider because you totally have one.
Or your experiences
Your
with step
experiences with
therapy.
Step therapy.
And any comments about, we have plenty to talk about. We can talk about IBD forever because it's always changing. There's always new information. Send us comments on what we might be able to talk about. If you're tired of hearing us just pick whatever we want to talk about, let us know what you'd like to hear about. Or if there's a new article, we're always happy to look at an article
We're interested in.
and look at it and really talk about it from a different perspective. Sometimes articles promise a cure and it's like,
I don't know, maybe even a myth busting episode where you're like, hey, I found some of these articles. Are these even
let us
true?
know.
And we can go through and see if we
We're
can.
happy to do that research for you. If you are like, I don't want to research that, but this looks like a great article, let us know. We're
Just
happy
let
to
us
do it.
know.
That's what we're here for. So with that, guys, you guys have a good rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever it is. And
college.
yeah, I know Missy gets to go
Dinner.
back to work, and then
Jumping spider,
Mhm.
caretaking day.
Yeah,
Crohn's roast.
make it a good
Crohn's
day.
roast day.
Make it a good
Yeah,
day.
make it a good day.
And we'll see you guys back here in
The
2 weeks
yeah,
on the
next
next episode.
episode.
All right, bye.
Bye. We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to play something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.